Hi there, the name's Nico, and today I'll be explaining what Eternal Return is and everything you need to know to get started. So let's begin. Here are the chapters breaking down this video if you only want to learn more about a particular topic. What is Eternal Return? Eternal Return is a free battle royale game with mobile controls available on Steam and the Microsoft Store. In each game there are a total of 18 players. The purpose of the game is to be the last one standing, which is the goal of all battle royales. First, you must pick a character. There are currently 54 characters to choose from, with new characters being added frequently. Each character in the game has a unique set of spells, and the way you play each character varies. You get 2 characters for free by completing the tutorial, Yuki and Hejin, and then enough A coins to buy at least one other character of your choosing. Before you spend the A coins you received, I would go into practice mode and play all the characters that seem interesting to you to get a feel for their playstyle. Once you've found a character, it's time to head to the loadouts tab. From here, you want to add a plan for that character. The best way to find viable builds is to head over to discord.gg/testsubjects, choose your character, and look at the verified builds there. They are generally all up to date. Otherwise, you want to head to the Search Save Plans button. This is where you find plans. The plans you will see are the ones with the highest recommended score that were created recently. These builds are generally built around KR meta, which is why I recommend going to the Discord, but if you can't, click the top 3 builds and import them. If the top 3 builds are the same, feel free to delete one of them, but otherwise your build is ready to go. Next, you want to click on the Augments tab. Here you want to choose the augments you want to run on your character. Now I recommend you go to the Discord I previously mentioned, discord.gg/testsubjects, and choose the augments they have here for your particular character. Otherwise, you want to go to doc.gg, hover over guide, then click characters. Click your character, click your weapon if you need to, scroll down, and then enter the augments you see here. Again, these augments are based on KR meta, and although they might be exactly what everyone is running, I would check the Discord to confirm. Then just enter the augments into your game. Now, augments are level gated, unfortunately, and you can't get all the augments until level 20, so I'll leave an infographic for what augments you should run for each character before level 20 in the description. If you want to learn more about augments, I made a video explaining each augment minus red spray in detail if you want to check that out after this video. Now that you have your plan and augment save, let's head into a game. The game takes place on Lumia Island. On Lumia Island there are 16 zones or regions, and 15 of them are accessible to the player without punishment. Lumia Island has a day and night cycle. All zones except the research center, which is always red, are open to all players until day 2. Starting from night 1, 2 zones will turn yellow, which warns the player that that zone will be closing during the next cycle until eventually all but one zone will be accessible to the player. Inaccessible zones will turn red. If you enter a red zone, you will lose time on your timer. If your timer hits 0, you are dead. You can see how much timer you have at the top of your screen. You start off with 25 seconds on your timer, and for every kill you get 8 additional seconds of your timer until you hit the cap of 40 seconds. Timer is extremely important because of the final zone, but you can use your timer to go through red zones if needed. In the final zone, there are what are known as temporary safe zones. If there are more than 2 players left in the final zone, you'll have to stand in these temporary safe zones until the area outside of these safe zones turn green. You'll have to fight other players until you can get your own temporary safe zone, or until you have enough timer that you can survive until the whole zone turns green again. Then you'll be fighting whoever is left, which should only be one other player in the final safe zone until you win or die. Timer is currently the solution the devs have to people who do not fight and just run away. The most unique aspect of this game, in my opinion, is the crafting system. This is a unique feature of this game, so even if you're good at MOBAs or battle royales, you'll have to learn this from scratch. Instead of finding your items around the map, you have to make them with different parts that are located in particular zones. Each zone generally has 16 different items in them, and you can find the same item in multiple zones. To craft an item, all you have to do is grab 2 different items that can turn into something else, and either press the item that it will turn into above your item slots or press Z on your keyboard, which is the default key for quick crafting. This key will craft the first item on that bar above your item slots, so use it for items that are marked with a yellow triangle. The yellow triangle represents items you need to finish your build. Keep going from zone to zone, collect the items with the yellow triangle, and crafting them until you finish your build. Now, some builds will need items found in the harvesting/hunting tab. These are items you can find in every zone. To know where stones or branches are, you can click on the stone or branch icon in the harvest/hunt tab, and the map will open and show you where these items are. You'll probably pass some while finding items you need on your build. If you want to find branches or stones and a lot more useful information shown to you, press F8. This will show a branch or stone icon over the branches or stones while walking around the map. If you need leather, you can kill chickens, wild dogs, bats, wolves, and bears for them. Only fight these animals if you aren't finished your build if you need leather to finish your build. You might ask, how do you know what zones you need to go to in order to finish your build? Well, you can open your map by pressing M or Tab on your keyboard. You will have these zones marked from 1 to however many zones your build is. In this case, there are 4 zones. If your zones are not connected, you can use a teleporter to go to your next zone. These are marked by 2 right arrows on the map. To use the teleporter, all you have to do is click on it, then click on the zone you need to go to. Then you will spawn in that zone. Other than crafting your build, you'll want to craft food and drinks on your build. Food is what you eat in order to regain HP, while drinks are what you drink in order to regain SP. HP is your health bar and SP is your mana bar, or what you need to cast spells. How do you know what food or drinks you can make on your route? You can check the Discord I mentioned, then look at the verified builds I mentioned, and then look at the food they mentioned you can make. Now I understand you probably won't be able to remember the recipe for all the foods in the game, so food you can always make regardless of zone is hamburgers. Hamburgers are bread plus meat. You start the game with bread, so when you kill a chicken, when you grab leather as an example, you can take the meat off the chicken to make a hamburger. Now the animals that drop meat are chickens, boars, wolves, and bears. To learn more about food, you can check out my Basics to Food guide, although it is a bit out of date. For SP, you can always make a variety of drinks, but the drink you start with is water. 2 different drinks you can make with water is honey water or ice water. To make honey water, combine honey and water, and to make ice water, combine ice and water. For this build, we will be making ice water. To learn more about SP or drinks, check out my Basics to Beverages guide. Now you should have your build, some food, and some drinks. Now what should you do? Now there are 3 things you can do. You can fight players, fight animals, or contest objectives. In order to win, you need to be the last person alive, so you have to fight at least 1 person. To find people, you can just wander until you run into someone, look at your minimap for pings, or contest objectives, which I will discuss later in this video. If you want to fight a player, head over to a ping. When you run into someone, you can see what items they have at the top left of your screen or by pressing tab. If you have activated F8 like I recommended you to, you'll also see a number above their head. This is their weapon mastery level. A general rule of thumb for this is the higher this number is, the more damage they will do. So ideally you want to fight someone either the same as your level, which is above your own head, or lower than you. To fight someone, you want to use a combination of your spells and auto attacks depending on how your character plays. Make sure you eat food if your HP is low. You can use the number that your food is on to use it. My food is always on slot 1, so I know that if I'm getting low, I will press 1. If your SP is low, you want to drink one of your drinks. You can press the number your drinks are on to use it. My drinks are always on slot 2, so I know that if I have low SP, I can just press 2 to recover it. You should put your food and drinks on whatever button you feel comfortable with. The second thing you can do is PvE. PvE in this game is fighting animals. You'll generally be doing this unless you see pings on your map or run into someone. Animals spawn at fixed locations and at fixed times originally. Here are the locations where all animals respawn. When someone kills that animal, there's a fixed time before they come back. These numbers can be changed, but currently, at the time of writing this video, chickens spawn 75 seconds after killing them, bats are 2 minutes after killing them, wild dogs are 50 seconds, wolves are 110 seconds, so just shy of 2 minutes, and bears are 170 seconds, so just shy of 3 minutes. Many high-level players will time when wolves and bears will respawn because these animals can drop rare resources which can be used for transition items, which I will discuss later, but for now keep in mind that all animals respawn eventually. Killing animals is an important part of the game because you'll gain weapon mastery, which will make you do more damage. The last thing you can do is contest objectives. Objectives are locations where you can get rare resources or mobs that spawn only once per game that drop rare resources. The first rare resource I'll mention is Tree of Life. This objective spawns at the same location every game. It spawns in Hotel and Cemetery Night 1 and Forest and Hospital Night 2. They also spawn at the locations I just showed you. The next objective is Meteorites. These do not spawn at the same location each game, but once you know the locations, you'll know where it spawns. The game will let you know where these spawns 1 minute before they spawn. A pop-up on the left side of your screen will show you this, as well as pressing tab once the location is known. These are the locations that meteorites can spawn. Meteorites spawn every day in night cycle starting at night 1 and ending day 3. The next objective is the first rare mob of the game, and that is Alpha. Alpha will drop Mithril and spawn day 2. The game will not give you an announcement on where Alpha will spawn until 1 minute before it spawns, but you can know the location of where Alpha spawns before this by pressing tab. You can see this right at the beginning of the game. Since this is a mob, it can damage you, but is the weakest of these rare mobs. The next objective and second rare mob of the game is Omega. Omega will drop a Force Core and spawns day 3. The game will not give you an announcement on where Omega will spawn until 1 minute before it spawns, but you can know the location of where Omega spawns before this by pressing tab. Alpha needs to spawn before it will show you where Omega is, so you'll only know starting from day 2. Omega is decently strong, so do not treat this like Alpha. Many people have died because of Omega, so if you need to, you can reset it by running away from its attack radius and it will walk back towards its starting point. Alpha and Omega share the same spawn locations, but it will not spawn at the same location in one game. So if one spawns in Beach, the other cannot also spawn in Beach. Here are the locations Alpha and Omega can spawn. The last and most important objective in this game is Wickeline. Wickeline will drop a VF blood sample and a first aid kit. Wickeline spawns Night 3 at the entrance to the research center connected to Avenue. Wickeline will either walk to Forest or Cemetery if Avenue is closed. If Forest is closed, it will walk towards Cemetery. If Cemetery is closed, it will walk towards Forest. If Avenue, Forest, and Cemetery are closed, it will go to a random zone. If one of the zones turn yellow, treat that zone as if it were red because Wickeline will not go there. Unlike the other objectives, Wickeline also provides a buff known as VF buff. This will do true damage to your opponent whenever you hit them with a basic attack or spell for 3 seconds. You can reapply this buff onto your opponent until you lose this buff. The VF buff lasts for 5 minutes. I recommend that everyone goes to Avenue before Night 3 so you are there before Wickeline spawns if that zone is not about to close. In my opinion, Wickeline is the most broken objective in the game, and even if you are behind, you can win the game if you get Wickeline buff and items. Wickeline does a lot of damage, so you will probably need to eat some food while fighting her. If you are low, run away from Wickeline as fast as you can so she will lose aggro on you. Some characters are better at taking these mob objectives or objectives in general. Other than Wickeline, you might be wondering why you want to fight for these objectives. The items you get from these objectives can be turned into really strong items, which are known as transition items. Not all transition items are made from rare resources, but all rare resource items are transition items. These are items that you make after you have finished your main build. Now you may wonder why don't you make these items from the get-go. It's because you cannot guarantee that you'll get these items. Other players want these items and will fight you at the locations I mentioned. They'll have their main build, or maybe they already have some objective items such as Glacial Shoes, which is made from a Tree of Life, or Fallen Pegasus, which is made from a Meteorite. But in order to win the game, you will want to switch off your main build into these stronger items. To learn more about transition items, I would recommend you check out my basics transition items video. It goes over general transition items except for weapons. To know specifically what your character wants, I would go to the Discord I have mentioned several times, discord.gg/testsubjects. Choose the character you're playing and then click character additional info. Here's where the transition items for each character are listed. If you want to know how to make that item, you can look on the Eternal Return Wikipedia or in the in-game item catalog. Another important thing you should know is about cameras in consoles. If you have played another MOBA before, you should know how important vision is. The basic cameras are known as surveillance cameras. These cameras show players, including players that are invisible, in an 8 meter radius as well as traps. I'm not going to cover traps in this guide since they are not really used by most beginners, but I will have a video about traps in the near future from when this video is published. You can only place 3 at a time. If you place more than 3, the oldest one you have placed will be destroyed. Surveillance cameras will naturally last 60 seconds, but other players can destroy them. The upgraded surveillance cameras are known as telephoto cameras. You can make 2 for every one surveillance camera and binoculars. They do the exact same thing as surveillance cameras, except they have a larger radius of 11 meters. Again, you can only have 3 telephotos down at a time, and if you place a 4th one, the oldest one you place gets destroyed. You can place these cameras in bushes to see people or items in that bush. The other types of cameras are recon drones. Recon drones are surveillance cameras plus gunpowder and will show you a larger radius for a short period of time. These cameras cannot see traps or invisible players. You can cast these from further away than surveillance or telephoto cameras and they cannot be destroyed, so you'll see that area for 7 seconds guaranteed. EMP drones are the same as recon drones except they disable traps. You'll probably not see these in play since I assume you are a new player watching this, but I thought I'd let you know. Consoles will give you vision of particular areas in a zone. These are fixed and will not change. To activate a console, all you have to do is click on it and wait for 3 seconds. If someone activates your consoles after you do, you will lose vision. Console vision lasts for 3 minutes if no one touches it. These are the locations of consoles in each zone. And at last is Masteries. In this game, your level is not the only thing that is important. I mentioned Weapon Mastery before, but there are several different Masteries in this game. There is Hunt Mastery, which you get for killing animals or the PvE in this game. This allows you to kill animals faster. There's Crafting Mastery. This makes your items more efficient. As an example, if you have 20% spell amplification from Commander's Armor, this can become 21% or even 22% spell amplification due to Craft Mastery. So crafting is extremely important. Next there is Search Mastery, which gives you increased vision range for each container you check. Move Mastery gives you more movement speed. Health Mastery gives you more out of combat HP and SP regen. Defense Mastery gives you more basic attack and spell damage reduction. And Trap Mastery makes your traps do more damage. To get these masteries, you do tasks related to that mastery type. As an example, to get more health mastery, you need to make more food and drinks. To get more move mastery, you want to move around the map, and etc. Everything you do except resting gives you mastery. To rest, press X. If you're low health or low in SP, you can regenerate HP and SP by setting for a period of time. To unrest, press X again. This is all I have for you. If you think I've missed something, feel free to let me know in the comments. And if you like Eternal Return as much as I do, consider subscribing. Since I assume you are a beginner, check out my beginners playlist. It has all the videos that I do specifically for new players. I just added one on loot distribution the other day, which I do not talk about here, but I recommend all new players to watch it. I also stream on Twitch every Tuesday and Friday if you have any questions or just want to hang out. I hope to see you at the next video.